reading week as we continue our adventures through Proverbs. We have come back as we saw on last Friday and Sunday. We saw that we survived the storm that was thrown at us. We survived the no power. We survived the no food. We survived the angry neighbors, angry public. We survived all of it. Thanks to God. Thank God that we did. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people had a worse time. A lot of people had no power for a longer time. So we are thankful that we had power. It took a while, almost a week, but we made it through. We survived. Now we can continue in our series through Proverbs. It's a very good, straightforward book. It tells you a lot of issues with life, personal beings, your spiritual life, and it hits you right where it hurts. That's why people don't like the Bible, because it tells you the truth. And let's be honest, a lot of people don't like to be told the truth, especially when it's their own personal truth. It's all even in the Christian community, it's all fun and games to point and laugh. Oh, see what the pastor was talking about. You should fix it. But then when it comes around to your turn, you just stay quiet and look down, like, yeah, okay. It's easy to do that. It's even harder to pick yourself up, change it, notice what you're doing wrong. A lot of Christians don't notice what they are doing. That's why the Bible says you have to call out your brothers and sisters. You're not judging them, but you're calling them out. You say, hey, brother, or hey, sister, I noticed this, I noticed that. Maybe you should read more. Maybe you should come to church. Maybe not just on Sundays. You should do it on a Wednesday or Friday or Thursdays or whenever other services your own personal churches attend. And some people don't like that. Instead of they act like if you're cursing them out. They act if you just cussed out their child. They act if you just hurt their dog. They act as if you kicked their guinea pig. They act instead of being, you know what? Instead of saying, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe I should look into my own spiritual life and see what I can do better. All the opportunities that I missed, all the things that I've done, everything that you might have overlooked, that your brother or sister from your own church or family have told you or brought up to your attention. Instead of saying, well, maybe you're right. Maybe I should change that. Maybe I should try something different. It's so difficult for people to accept something that they've been doing for years, or something that they thought of themselves. Oh, I don't do that. I don't read the Bible enough, but I already know that. But somebody came and told me maybe you should read more, and then you take offense to it. Don't take offense to something that might be positive for you in your personal life or your spiritual life. If somebody tells you or brings up something, you say, well, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should try that. Maybe I should read more. Maybe I should attend service more. Maybe I should help clean up the church more. Maybe I should help put things away. Maybe I should help, the band, the group, anything. Help the ladies clean up or the men clean up. Involve yourself. The more you involve yourself, the more you'll have spiritual growth. No matter how big your church is, small, medium, or large, always involve yourself. It's just like reading the Bible. If you don't read it enough, you're going to start cooling down. You're not going to have that spiritual battery full. You're going to have it drained or in low or in medium. Let's continue in Proverbs 6, 1 through 35. We will continue our journey through this book after surviving the craziness that was the storm. If you're joining us, God bless you. If you're going to watch this later in the background or play it for 10 seconds, God bless you as well. Any little bit helps us spiritually, any little bit helps you spiritually. to hear this, to read it, and don't be like the Christians that say, well, I already know what it says in the Bible and where it says it. A lot of the times you have to be reminded. You have to be reminded, hey, oh yeah, this says this verse says that. Or what did that verse say? You might take it out of context. You might remember it differently. You might remember it wrong, or you might remember it at all. So let's go to Proverbs 6, verse 1. My son, if you have put up security for your neighbor, have given your pledge for a stranger, if you are snared in the words of your mouth, caught in the words of your mouth, verse 2, verse 3, then do this, my son, and save yourself, for you have come into the hand of your neighbor. Go hasten and plead urgently with your neighbor. Verse 4, give your eyes no sleep, give your eyelids no slumber. Save yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, like a bird from the hand of the fowler. Go to the ant, O sluggard, consider her ways. Be wise without having any chief, officer, or ruler. Verse 8, she prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest. How long will you lie there, O sluggard? When will you arise from your sleep? When will you get up from your sleep? When will you stop not working or doing anything progressively throughout the day? Why don't you get up and cut the grass? Why don't you get up and clean the dirty windows from the front? Pull out your roots. All of that. That's what it's talking about here. When you arise from your sleep, a little slumber. Verse 10, a little folding of the hands to rest. 11, and poverty will come upon you like a robber for not doing anything, for just chilling there. Instead of hoping, wishing, and praying, you have to hope, wish, pray, and get up and act on it. Get up and do something with yourself spiritually, with your life, and spiritually. And poverty will come upon you like a robber. It tells you, it warns you, it advises you in 11. And want like an armed man. 12. A worthless person, a wicked man, goes about with crooked speech, winks with his eyes, signals with his feet, points with his finger, with perverted heart, devises evil, continually sowing discord. Therefore, 15, calamity will come upon him suddenly. In a moment, he will be broken beyond healing. It's hard to heal from being broken physically, mentally, and spiritually. 16, there are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are an abomination to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that make hasten to run to evil, with false witnesses who breathe out lies, and one who sows discord among others. Warnings against adultery. I know we read it before, but there's a reason why we're reading it again. My son, keep your father's commandment and forsake not your mother's teaching. Bind them on your heart always. Tie them around your neck when you walk. They will lead you when you lie. They will patch you. They will watch over you. And when you awake, they will talk with you. For the commandment is a lamp, and the teaching a light, and the reproofs of discipline are the way of life. 24. To preserve you from the evil woman, from the smooth tongue of the adulteress, do not desire her beauty in your heart. I wonder why it says that. Maybe because beauty is skin deep. And do not let her capture you with her eyelashes, meaning don't let her fool you with her makeup. 26. For the price of a prostitute is only a loaf of bread. This caught me by surprise when I read it, not because I don't agree with it, but the way it paints the picture is really, how do you say it? It brings it down to its lowest terms. In reality, when you fall for that person, that man, that woman that constantly doesn't leave you alone, they pay more attention to you than your husband or wife. They flirt with you with their makeup, with their nicely trimmed beard and hair, and they bat the eyelashes at you, or the guys wink at you. They try to flirt with you and try to get your attention, and you're like, well, my husband or wife aren't paying me that much attention. Let's see what happens. And that's where it all crumbles down. That's why it tells you here, to verse 24, to preserve you from the evil woman, from the smooth tongue of the adulteress, because they have smooth words, not just Osteen does. The adulteress does, the adulterer does as well. Do not desire her beauty in your heart. Do not desire his beauty in your heart. Do not let her capture you with his eyelashes. Do not let him capture you with his six pack. For the price of a prostitute or a male prostitute is only worth a loaf of bread. So, would you rather have your nice big 2-story home and your vehicles and your cars, or would you rather risk it all for a loaf of bread? Is basically what it's telling you. You want to risk your relationship that you built for years, 15, 20 years. I don't know how long you guys have been together or married. And you look, well, that gluten-free loaf of bread looks pretty good. I'm going to try it. And then the downfall begins. Just like when you eat a lot of bread and a lot of sweets, diabetes gets you. Except with this, you're like, well, I ate the bread. Nothing happened. I think I'm good. Just don't tell anybody, but I think I'm good. It's just like the sweets that you eat, the food that you drink. It's not going to affect you right then and there. But down the road, this loaf of bread that you were warned to avoid, it's going to destroy you and shatter you. But a married woman, as it said, hunts down a precious life. Can a man carry fire next to his chest? No. And his clothes not be burned? No. It's basically telling you you're playing with fire. It's like you're trying to light a match inside a room filled with gasoline. It might not go off right away. It might not explode the first time, but when it does, you're not going to have any skid left. That's why it says, can a man carry fire next to his chest on his clothes and not be burned? You go out there and try to hold a firecracker in your hand and see if it blows your hand off or not. Or can one walk on hot coals? On hot coals, do we know what hot coals are? Those burning coals that they throw in the barbecue and they start burning and they're ready to cook the meat on. If you walk on those, his feet will your feet not be scorched, burned, scarred, useless. It will happen. You're not a superhero. 29. So is he who goes into his neighbor's wife, none who touches her will go unpunished. People do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his own appetite when he's hungry. It's like modern day thieves. They get praised nowadays and they get statues of themselves. But if he is caught, he will pay sevenfold. He will give all the goods of his house. He who commits adultery lacks sense. He who does it to destroy himself, which people have done, and I know of experiences that they've destroyed themselves purposely to punish themselves. I know people like that. I can be familiar with them. In his disgrace will not be wiped away. For jealousy makes a man furious, and he will not be spared when he takes revenge. He will accept no compensation. He will refuse, though you apply multiple gifts. Now, chapter 7, the warnings against the adulteress. 1 through 27, Proverbs 7. Seven, 1 through 27. Warning against adulteress. The Bible only mentions the adulteress because in those times, a lot of the kingdoms fell because of desire for women, for beautiful women and their queens. And there was a lot of argument, a lot of fighting between kings and destroyed kingdoms, families, villages. But don't get upset. This is also for the adulterers. It's not just adulteresses that tempt people. Adulterers, which are male version, they tempt as well. My son, keep my words and treasure up my commandments. Verse 2, keep my commandments and live. Keep my teachings as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, you are my sister. And call insight your intimate friend, to keep you from the forbidden woman, from the adulteress, from her smooth, sweet words. For at the window of my house I have looked out through my lattice, and I have seen among the simple, I have perceived among the youth a young man lacking sense, passing along the street near her corner, taking the road her house. Verse 9, in the twilight, in the evening, at the time of the night and darkness, at all times of the hours, basically tell you the adulterers, the adulterer roam around not knowing what to do with their lives, but commit that sin. Verse 10, and behold, the woman meets him, dressed as a prostitute. Bible doesn't hold back. Willie of heart. She's loud and wayward, basically a loudmouth. Talks really loud, kind of like those drunk men and women that are always loudmouths and are always holding their drinks up high for whatever reason. I always found that very cringe. She's loud and wayward. Her feet do not stay at home. That means they can't stay still. There was a neighbor here that his wife was always out and about. I'm not judging, I'm just telling what I kept seeing matches what we are reading. Her feet would not stay at home. She was always out. She was married to him. They had a daughter, a kid. She was always out at night, going off in her motorcycle until one day they decided to split. So because of that loud and wayward, her feet not staying home, the division happened. And at the very corner, she lies in wait. She seizes him and kisses him, and with bold face, she says to him, I had to offer sacrifices, and today I have paid my vows. So now I have come out to meet you, to seek you eagerly, and I have found you. 16, I have spread my couch with coverings, colored linens, Egyptian linens, basically making her furniture look nice, fancy, and even more tempting for when she brings her victims into her spider web. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. All that I'm sure smells very lovely. 18. Come, let us take our fill of love till the morning. Let us delight ourselves with love. For my husband is not at home. He's working, earning the living to keep this house that I'm going to be cheating in. He has gone on a long journey. Some soldiers have to go through that. Some hardworking men that have to work on the weekend because they can't find other jobs. So they're adulteresses. This is what they do. I'm not saying it. Don't get mad at me. We are reading it. That's what it says. And if it matches anybody that you know or personal stories that you went through, just say amen. Don't get angry. As she says on 19, for my husband is not home. He has gone on a long journey. He took a bag of money with him. At full moon, he will come home. Midnight, probably, or 3 a.m. Who knows? 21. With much seductive speech, she persuades this man. With her smooth talk, she compels him and tempts him. And sweet talking all at once, he follows her as an ox goes to the slaughter, or as a stag caught fast. 23. Till an arrow pierces its liver and a bird rushes in to snare it. He does not know what will cost him his life, not just that moment, but his life. And now, O sons, listen to me, verse 24, and be attentive to the words of my mouth. Let not your heart turn aside to her ways. Do not stray into her paths. Do not go her way. Do not fall for it. Do not fall for the nice smelling furniture, linens and cloths, and perfumes and smells and lotions and smooth legs. Don't fall for it. And now, O sons, listen to me and be attentive to the words of my mouth. 24. 25. Let not your heart turn aside to her ways and do not stray into her paths. I don't know why I almost read into her pants, but it says into her paths. But if I did say that, it would make sense too. 26. For many a victim has she laid low, basically telling you and telling anyone who reads this, you're not the first and you won't be the last that goes through there. 26. For many a victim has she laid low, and all her slain are a mighty throng. 27, and we finish it up with that. Her house is the way to Sheol, going down to the chambers of death. And that's what it ends with. Into the chambers of death. We've seen very, very dangerous things, very dangerous speakings here, very dangerous warnings, not just physically, but spiritually, which is the most important thing. Don't be upset at me, especially if you've gone through that, or if you know a family member that has gone through that. Don't at me. Don't forward it to me. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for everything you have done for us. Thank you for the service. Thank you for anybody that needed to hear that, for anybody that happened to listen and say, wow, I needed something like this. I needed to hear something like this. Bless them, Lord. Bless their families. Bless their spiritual side, Father. Bless them. Watch over them. Send your strongest angels to camp around them, Father. We ask you to bless any brother and sister that has listened to this, that read it along with us, that stayed and watched, that only watched for 2 seconds, 5 seconds, a minute, or any time whatsoever. Or if they just clicked on it and said, man, that guy looks funny, and then left, God bless you too. God bless anybody that looked, scrolled past it, seen the verses, wrote it down, and said, I'm going to read it later. Bless them as well, Father. Keep their family safe, all of their family members. Give them that fire, that burning desire to attend church, Father, to go find out more about you, to find out all your secrets, all your rules, all your laws, all your statutes, Father, all the followings that you are able to give us, all the all the guides, everything that you can provide, the proper manual, Father, to live our lives, our spiritual lives, Father, so we don't get in trouble in our current life and in the afterlife, Father. I ask you to watch over us, take care of us, bless us, Father, and we will continue to see you next week on the Bible